I went to a game development school and I have mixed feelings about it. Let's talk about it and see if it was worth it for me. Just to make it clear from the start, this is not a simple yes or no question. I will just be giving my experiences and the things I learned from them. The school I went to had a couple different degrees. They had specific degrees for artists, programmers, sound designers, and also animators. But they also had a degree for indie game developers, so I chose to study indie game production. In this course, you would see anything related to the indie game industry like programming, Unity, 2D 3D art, sound design, business management, and also game design. That seems like quite a lot, and the degree is only 3 years. Is it even feasible? Let's find out. First of all, I want to mention that I had no previous experience at all. Many game devs probably have stories like I made my own Flash game or I made games in Roblox or in Scratch, but not for me. I tried creating a Roblox game once and I didn't know how to program, so I didn't finish it. I mean, in general, I just had a little bit of coding experience from high school. Okay, so during COVID, I stumbled upon indie dev YouTube. I didn't really think about the possibilities of making games, but I was captivated, so I looked up some other game dev YouTubers and also some tutorials, mostly from Danny and Brackies, and made the most basic stuff during the summer. So I was very hyped for the first day of college, but it was during COVID. From the start, it was very clear that they didn't have a lot of time to teach more in-depth topics, so the material was pretty basic. And that is something that didn't really change the upcoming years. I mean, to be fair, the results of my first year were pretty average. I made a small endless runner type game in Monogame. I also learned some basics in 2D and 3D classes like modeling in Maya, color theory and perspectives. Only in the second half did I learn Unity. For my first project, I recreated the basic mechanics of Mario Odyssey. I went a bit overboard with the visuals, but I obviously didn't make the models myself. I had my first game design course in Unreal Engine for some reason, I still don't know why. So I used blueprints to create a concept of a Mario game that has not been done before. So I took a bit of inspiration from the DS version of Mario 64, where Yoshi can turn into Mario by taking his hat. In my concept, you play as Mario and you can take different hats and gain abilities from those characters. For example, Peach was floaty, I think Luigi could like double jump or something, and Toad was just a small guy, Toad is just small. This was year 1. I feel like for the whole year I didn't really achieve a lot and I was actually pretty scared that I made the wrong decision. Oh yeah, I also want to mention that from the 40 plus people that started in my class, at least half of them dropped out by now. It felt a bit like year 1 was an elimination year where they just wanted as many people to drop out as possible. In the second year, COVID was mostly over, so I finally had a chance to make some actual friends. I'm not really an easy making friends type of guy, but I had some incredibly passionate people in my class that are now starting their own studios and creating their own games. This may sound weird, but in school there was always a closed-off classroom that was filled with round tables, whiteboards, and there was carpet as well, I think. When we didn't have any classes, we would hang out and work on personal projects together. This is probably one of the biggest things to consider when going to a game school. You should find friends. Not only friends to not be lonely, but also friends that have similar visions and share the same passion you have for game creation. And that is obviously easier to find in a game school. But not only friends. A game school can also be a large community, full of future connections. If you have a good game school, they organize events like game jams, game nights, study nights, portfolio reviews, and all of that surrounds you with like-minded people, hopefully. Besides the community, another thing a game school should fulfill as well is working on soft skills. This includes public speaking, like presenting your ideas to an audience. But not only soft skills, a school also creates structure. Within any part of the game industry, you will always be pestered with deadlines, and in game school will be very strict with those from the start. When working on game development, many simply lack discipline. A game school can help you with that, but of course without your own determination it's not really that effective and you'll just end up dropping out. For game design, I made many prototypes, including a Portal 2 prototype with a group. This project was my first real prototype within a group dynamic. This was the moment I finally understood how to work well together and how to create a concept from start to finish. However, I always worked way too hard on those assignments, and that makes me think of probably the biggest tip I can give. Don't just do the schoolwork. And this may mean multiple things, so I'll explain it a bit better. Okay, imagine you want to work on a prototype about exploring a house and finding 10 ghosts. Your assignment from the school is to make this prototype and show that it is an interesting concept. Don't go overboard, don't go for the full score, do what is asked. I made something similar and I spent hours working on post-processing, sound effects, and useless inspect mechanics, and even a storyline. At the end, nothing really mattered. I mean, imagine if I made this 17 out of 20 prototype in 12 hours. Cool. Now imagine if I didn't do that and I got a 12 for something I worked 4 hours on. Now I have 8 more hours to work more on something meaningful, like learning more about shaders, optimization, design principles, or just working on a side project. So don't go overboard with getting the perfect score. It is more important to improve yourself in more meaningful ways. If you just do the things that the game school tells you to do, you may graduate, but you will know nothing. One major thing to watch out for when putting in those extra hours is the use of tutorials. Many of you may use your time watching tutorials and following along. Well, welcome to tutorial hell. In tutorial hell, you simply follow along tutorials, get some cool ideas, some cool end results, and when someone asks you to recreate it, you can't. I mean, you just followed along, you just followed the guide, you didn't learn anything. It took me a very long time to detach myself from tutorial hell, and I just want you to be aware of its existence. Actually, it has been quite a while since I followed a tutorial. Sometimes I simply watch one because I want to check the fundamentals people use for something like dialogue systems or animation systems, but I don't pick a single video and just copy it completely anymore. It is also very important to note that the majority of tutorials on YouTube are made by beginners. I mean, some may even be less skilled than you. Of course, not all tutorial videos are like that, but most are. Okay, so if people don't put in those extra hours, then the third year would hit them in the face like a rocket, at least from my school. We started with the group projects and it was tense at first, but the end result was beautiful. Well, our client was a famous comedian and he wanted to showcase our game at a conference about the future. That conference hasn't happened yet, so normally I shouldn't be talking about this, but our teacher literally said that they forgot to give our project staff to manage it. It basically got cancelled. I mean, at the end I didn't sign an NDA anyway, so who cares? You may think, Luxo, a conference about the future. What is so futuristic about it? Well, we made a game with the HoloLens. What the f? AR glasses from Microsoft that basically got dropped, I think, because the third version got like cancelled or something. Wait, they didn't? Wait, what? Who knows at this point? In short, our game was about a virtual party simulator, where you could add lights, music, smoke, and other decoration, and there would be like NPCs dancing all over the place. We also hooked up real-life LED lights to the whole system, and it would match the in-game colors. I feel like the guy that programmed this has still nightmares about it. I still have the file, so if anyone has a HoloLens somehow, I'll hit you up, man. The second part was the internship, and that was a bit of a weird one. I didn't really feel like going to a AAA studio, maybe it was imposter syndrome or maybe I just really sucked in comparison, but I had a pretty fun one after all. I did a program in an accelerator, which basically is a business that helps you grow, but specifically for indie studios. To summarize it, in this program you and around 20 others make a game every couple weeks. I ended up creating around 7 games, 2 of which got on pretty popular. I actually made around 20 euros from one of them. This was actually the first time I ever got paid for making a game. If any of you are interested, you can find the game on Crazy Games, it's called Burger Clicker. The best part of the internship was that it was all about going A to Z, from brainstorming to marketing. I'm sorry if I talk too much about my experiences, but those don't lie. Game schools are not some magic roller coasters that will guide you towards your dream game. This is not about I love playing games, so I will love making them as well. If it was that simple, there wouldn't be only less than 10 people remaining from the 40 at the start. So let's summarize some points. Why would you go to a game school? The community is one of the biggest reasons. You will find like-minded people, but you need to open up yourself to find that group of people that are as passionate about the future as you are. You will learn the basics, and you will have the time to improve yourself, but you must learn more by yourself than what the school teaches you. If you only study the courses alone, you will not make it. But many people just don't have the discipline, and a game school can create that initial external motivation to kickstart your career. However, that is not sustainable, so you must grow yourself and find that internal motivation in the meantime. Why shouldn't you go to a game school? A game school is not necessary to succeed. Most of the indie game developers either learned it from a younger age or studied computer science. Just think logically. Do you think with the amount of passion and discipline you will be able to study game development on top of a computer science degree? It's possible, Danny did it too. So for me, was it worth it? I can tell you that I was first driven by delusion that slowly turned into passion. If I didn't have those passionate people around me and if I didn't realize I had to study more, then I wouldn't have thought it was worth it. But now I have experienced all of that and I can say it was worth it for me and I wouldn't take it back. It is up to you whether you feel like the community or the extra time is a big enough reason to attend such a school. And also think about the future. What do you want to do after this degree? Many of the graduates at my school end up abroad, especially artists, because there's like one AAA studio and the other ones are just startups. And maybe you want to start your own studio. There are a lot of opportunities in the game industry, but it's a harsh world. But yeah, at the end, without a game school and with a lot of determination, you have as much chance to succeed as others. I hope you understood the message I was trying to make. It's a bit of a difficult topic because not all game schools are the same and not all the degrees are the same. But anyways, thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this video and I will see you in the next one. See ya.